kicker. Hand off to the right side. Adkins trying to get to the edge, breaks back, and he's in. Touchdown. That's a game clincher, Alex Adkins. 32-13 Bearcats. Good blocking on the outside as they were able to get to the periphery of that Chilhowie defense, and a good break back right on that right hash into the end zone. 6-yard touchdown run by Alex Adkins, his first touchdown run of the day. Big deep ball fly.
Wow.
Medley able to make the grab at the 20. Nobody's going to catch him. Touchdown. He just broke off his route. Bobby Medley put the icing on the cake. 39-20. Bearcats here on homecoming night. Just jumped over and picked it right over the head of Todd Martin, the cornerback, and turned around and had nobody to stop him into the end zone. It's going to be a homecoming win for the Bearcats, and they'll move to 4-1 on the year and set up a date with the Abingdon Falcons next Friday night, as this one's in the books. All zeros on the scoreboard. 40-20, Bearcats win it against Chilhowie on homecoming. Welcome back to Bearcat Sports Chat. Still joined by Coach Chris as we move into the opponent scouting report part of the show. Abingdon Falcons next up on the game list. 5-1 on the year. 3A team play in the same district as John Battle in that Mountain District. Of course, postseason starts, they'll move up and play other 3A schools, but they'll be playing. We have some common opponents with them, Wise Central and John Battle. Matchup info, this will be the 19th straight year these two have played, going back to VHSL reference. In the 18 games, they're an even 9-9 against each other. So this has been a very even keel series. Abingdon has won the last three, including a 56-35 win last season, but that is going to change Friday night, hopefully, whenever the Bearcats roll into Abingdon. The only loss this year for the Falcons, 27-20 to Pulaski County. They're led by head coach Darren Reed. He's in his fourth season, 33-8 in his 4 years there. And what's interesting about that, you go back the previous 9 years, Abingdon had only won 35 complete total games in 9 years. So Coach Reed's really turned that program around in just 4 years. He's a former Emory and Henry Wasp, of course, go Wasps, and former Wise County Central head coach. So he's there at Abingdon. Offensively, they're just averaging just like we are, 30 points a game, right at 31 exactly. They're averaging 311 yards rushing a game, so they're ground and pound. It's actually I think the third opponent this year that we've played that's averaged over 300 yards at the time rushing. They're averaging 7.3 yards per carry, and they only pass 33 yards per game. So passing not really an issue for this defense this week, but of course they will try to surprise you here and there. Defensively, they're stout, only allow 16 points per game. Forced 14 turnovers in 6 ball games. So this is a ball-hawking Abingdon Falcon team. 9 of their 11 starters on defense are either a junior or a senior, so very aged in that secondary, and also on the line of scrimmage. They allow 4.5 yards per carry. Of course, gone are the days of the pass-happy Falcons. This wing T offense scored 22 touchdowns this year. 19 of those have been on the ground, just 3 through the air. Defensively, that base 4-3 look, but they have athleticism all over the field. A preseason interview with Coach Reed, he talked about how the goal was to have 7 or 8 linebacker-type players out there on the field, and they sure play like it. What are some early things you've seen from the defense from Abingdon, Coach Chris?
They're a sound defense. The biggest thing is they can give you different looks in terms of form, or they can get into an odd front package. They can be one high or two high, so they have the ability to be versatile with who they're playing. I think they do give good effort. You got a big linebacker inside, and then they have another smaller linebacker who does a little more of their pass coverage. So, basically we feel like we've played against them for the past couple years. It's nothing different than what we've seen in the past. I feel like we've seen other good defenses too so far this year in a couple different teams. So we feel like we're prepared. But give credit, they certainly have statistically done really well and are a good, solid coach football team.
Yeah, this series, like I said, it's been really, really close over the past few years. The last 18 years, again, split at 9-9. I know that we're supposed to get excited about that, but of course this year's team doesn't really care about all the past games. The theme of this game seems to be balance for the Bearcat offense. You've been able to do it pretty much all season. How do you keep it up against Abingdon? Like we were talking about, Pulaski was able to stay balanced. That was Abingdon's one loss.
I think we run our offense. I don't think we ever go into any game with any preconceived notions of how much we need to throw the ball, how much we need to run the ball. Certainly there's some balance built into what we do. Jamie puts us in the right spots. We put a lot on his shoulder in terms of whether it be a run or a pass falls on him at times to make some decisions. Garrett Ember, your offense coordinator, does a good job with that. I think you create balance throughout the game in terms of what they give you. I think that dictates it more than going in with any preconceived notions as to how many times we want to run the ball or how many times we want to throw the ball. We don't go into it ahead of time with that thought.
Just let it flow naturally as the game goes.
Sure.
The defensive backs for this Falcon defense put a lot of pressure on the passing game. They crowd the line of scrimmage a lot, play a lot of man coverage. What are some general offensive fundamentals against this man or press coverage?
Again, not to be cliche, but it's certainly important we play our game. When you're in our offense, you don't know what people are always going to do. People are going to give you some different looks. Certain teams, may have shown zone coverage, but they get into man. We have certain man beaters we have built in, certain things we like versus different zones that you'll see. So, it doesn't work us up too much as far as whether it be man zone, press, off. We feel like, we have things built in to take advantage of what we have to do. And to be good offense, and particularly in our offense, a shotgun one-back offense, you have to have those things built in.
And, last week it seemed like every time there was man coverage, Jamie found whoever was open on that side and was always just beat it.
Yeah, I think he has confidence in his guys. He pulls the trigger. I think he's become pretty fearless back there. So no doubt he can take advantage of that when he gets some one-on-ones. We certainly like our matchup with our guys on the perimeter.
So getting back to Abingdon, Falcon offense, ground and pound, and really it's ground and pound for the second straight game for you guys. How do you slow down this wing T attack, and how is it different from Greg Sanchez's and Chill Howie's attack from last week?
There's some similarities. They're both getting some 400 and 600, which is a wing T formation. But the difference is, Abingdon will move into a lot of multiple formations. But reality is, if you're going to play wing T, you got to be able to stop. With them in particular, you got to be able to stop buck, trap, and power. If you can't, it's going to be a long day. So limiting those big runs that they've had, you can't give up the big run on counter crisscross. You can't give up seam run on trap. That's kind of what they've certainly hung their hat on. They do a good job of that. They'll run some jet, do it well. They execute well offensively. So it's just important that you don't give up too many big runs for touchdowns. They certainly have the capability of doing that.
This is really a three-headed offense, three-headed attack for this offense. The quarterback, Gabe Booth, a junior, his first year starting. He's got 3 passing touchdowns on the year, 1 rushing. Pierre Jordan, a senior running back, he's a load in what I've seen in film. He's got 6 rushing touchdowns. Also, Austin Holloway, running back, senior, 6 rushing touchdowns on the year. He actually moved from the defensive side of the ball. He was a defensive end last year. This is his first year playing offense, and it looks like they've really added him into that offense, and he's complemented them really well.
Yeah, he does. I think that's the thing. Certainly if they get the perimeter going, then he can hit you with trap. And he has. He's broken quite a few big runs in trap, and that's what you have to limit.
And, if you look at the stats, the cut blocks and pulling the tackles here, it reminds you a lot of a Paul Johnson triple option style. So with the Abingdon O-line, with the cut blocks and the pulling tackles, how much work has been put into both of those features this week?
Well, fortunately in high school they can't cut, so we don't see as much of that. Obviously they will pull guards, they'll fold some tackles, but in terms of the cut, we're obviously illegal outside the tackle box. We won't really see any of that. We will see obviously pulling guards. Obviously that has to be considered in how you set your defense up. They do a good job. The Fudge kid does a good job doing a lot of their pulling for them. What do you do differently? I don't know that you do anything different to prepare. Obviously, pulling guards are part of your base defense, and handling that. You have your rules built in, just kind of like last week. So when you see a wing T team, it can't be a whole new defense for you. It's got to go with what's already built into it, and you just have to do a good job of playing your game.
All right, including the Chilhowie game, Jamie Lathrop has won his last 30 pass attempts without an interception. What have you seen in his progression from early in the season to now?
Yeah, I think he's pulling the trigger. He's not hesitating. First couple games we talked with him, felt like he hesitated a little bit. I think he's got some confidence. He's taking advantage of that, and he's pulling the trigger, making his reads and rolling with it. A lot of that too is developing that trust with those guys on the perimeter, which he has.
All right, so 2 one-loss teams going at it this Friday. We talked about keys to the game and making my job a little easier last week. How about we do it again this week?
I think we've said it before. From our defensive perspective, we can't give up multiple long runs. That's sort of where they've gotten people. They're ground and pound, but it's busting that trap for 60 yards. We can't. We got to limit those runs. Certainly, you'd like to say none, but you got to limit them. You got to be able to get off the field on some third downs because they can hang on the ball. Got to get our offense back on there. I think from an offensive perspective, it's poise. You play a team that grounds and pounds. We got to be patient and then certainly take advantage when we get on the field. Special teams, as always, you don't want to give up a big play. You don't want to put ourselves in a hole. And then obviously talked how big those things are for momentum. A big return is huge for you momentum-wise. Big block is huge for you momentum-wise. So we got to make something like that happen in special teams.
And realistically, special teams isn't half the battle, but that momentum that you get off of special teams is.
It's huge. You block a field goal, that's big. That's a win for the defense. You're getting off the field in good field position. Sometimes you're even in better field position. So instead of giving up points, you're coming off there scotch-free, and that's big. That's big for the team.
And just real quick before we let you go off, Coach, now the updated thing for the first half this year, Virginia High's outscored opponents 103-44 in the first half, and we've led going into half in 4 of the first 5 ball games and won all 4 of those that we've led at the half. So keeping up the early scoring and almost doubling it up now, or have doubled it up. So early, getting on the board early.
Hey, we're not going to turn any points down, whether they come early or late. We'll take them. But obviously getting off to a good start always helps you relax, helps you play your game, and keep your poise later on in the game.
And, Coach, thank you for joining us. Good luck Friday night and for the rest of the season. I hope you're able to join us again. You'll probably be back. You came back last week, came back from last week. So,
hey, it's good luck, right?
Yeah. As long as we keep winning, he's got to keep coming back, don't he, Mark?
Right. So we'll see you here next week.
Hey, I'm not superstitious, but my assistants are. So, they say, whatever you do to win, you got to repeat the same next week. So I may be here.
Might be here. All right, we'll try to book you for next week. Up next on Bearcat Sports Chat, we'll have kicker and wide receiver Lane Carroll joining us. We'll be right back here on Bearcat Sports Chat from Buffalo Wild Wings in Bristol.
Bearcat fans, following every Virginia High School home football game, visit Shoney's at Exit 5 for their world-famous breakfast bar. Serving until midnight, Shoney's is a proud sponsor of Bearcat Athletics. Listen to Virginia High School football on your computer or mobile device at Spreaker.com/Bearcat Radio. You're listening to Virginia High football on Bearcat Radio on Spreaker.com. Bearcat Radio is brought to you by State Line Motors. Visit State Line Motors on Euclid Avenue in Bristol.
Hi, I'm Dustin Lynch. You don't have to listen to country music to know that life can be full of drama. Some of it you just can't control, like your girlfriend running out on you with your best friend. But there's some drama that you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
You just need to take that first step and find free classes near you and start moving towards a brighter future. And